Okay, Marlana, we have we have two more episodes at least in this series of how to choose the right career for you. And up until now, it's all been kind of the back end work. We're doing the self-assessment, and we're doing some research, and we're talking to friends, and we're looking at a resume, and we're getting some training to fill in some gaps if we need to. But now it comes down to the moment of applying for a job. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. What are some things I should keep in mind before I hit apply now for my dream job, my dream career, maybe a stepping stone? What should I keep in mind before I actually apply?
Okay, well, a couple things. First off, when you apply for this job or a job, think about what your online image is. And this is a little left field than the normal route we've been going with our previous episodes. Mm-hmm. And I say that because the moment you send that resume, it has probably your email address. It may have your LinkedIn link or whatever profile link you're including in that. Mm-hmm. And you want to make sure what you're displaying to the rest of the world is legit. Please make sure any pictures that you have, they're tasteful. And I understand because some people will say, that's my Facebook page. Mm-hmm. LinkedIn is my business and professional profile. But when I'm on Facebook, Facebook are for old people, as my kids told me.
We'll say Facebook or Instagram
IG or what
TikTok.
Have you, Twitter, whatever it is, you want to make sure you're always putting on your best, and not just the representative. You can still be yourself, but you need to understand employers nowadays are going to look at what type of image are you displaying of yourself, and do they want that individual representing their organization? Yep. So,
yeah, I don't want to get into whether that's right or wrong. I want to focus on they're going to do it.
Yeah,
because
that's true.
They're going to do it regardless. Yeah. And so if that's you, if you're thinking, well, social media is my place to be social and myself, you take your Facebook page, you put it on private.
Yes.
And then
good point.
Yeah, then you can do what you want. They don't. Somebody who is not your friend doesn't have access. That doesn't mean that they won't be able to see it necessarily.
Right.
Because they could say, hey, so and so, do you know so and so? You're like, yeah, we're friends on Facebook. We'll pull them up, and they now have access. But if that's you, take steps to make
just get it together,
to make it private. Or if that's not you, take a quick look at your Facebook page. Take a quick look at your LinkedIn profile and say, if somebody was looking, if my dream job employer was looking at this, does this help me or hurt me?
Yes,
and then go from there.
No, that's a great point, and thank you for going in that direction, because as we're all doing now, those are individuals that are professionals. We want everyone to see our skill sets and our background and all of our credentials. So when you're using that LinkedIn profile, for instance, or ZipRecruiter or whatever it is of the platform of your choice, make sure everything is tidied up. If it hasn't been updated for 5 years.
That's me, man. Yeah.
Let's do it. Now, you're in the market. It's just like dating. We talked about this before. Brush some things up, get things cleaned up, update those credentials and whatnot, because of the fact that, again, sometimes some employers may say, you know what, I don't have time to go through these resumes. I have 1,001 resumes in this inbox.
Yep.
I'm going to glance at a name and I'm going to go to this LinkedIn page. So just make sure your online profiles, whatever you're going to use, whatever you are keeping open for employers, Indeed, what have you, make sure all of that information is updated. Make sure, again, you're researching the different organizations that you're applying with, start reviewing what they're about. Because what I'm finding now, some employers may be reaching out to you on those online platforms. So you want to kind of have some knowledge up front as to, when you're looking at somebody responding to you, be timely in checking these platforms. If you know you're not checking LinkedIn but once a month and you're applying,
Yep.
Come on now. We gotta get it together.
And folks that are listening to this, I'll give you a mistake that I just recently discovered. My website it had something wrong with the email inbox. And so people would leave me a message on my website and it would get delivered to a completely different email.
Oh my goodness.
And whether I don't know if I knew that at the time when I created the website and I just disregarded it or I didn't catch it or whatever, but a couple weeks ago I went back through the inbox and there are people reaching out for work from across the country saying, "Hey Phil, I'm interested in what you're doing," and I never responded to them. I absolutely missed an opportunity. I emailed a couple of them back saying, "Hey, sorry, ran into some technical issues." Didn't hear back from them. That was my fault. I missed out on that, and so if you're on LinkedIn, you might be in the habit of not even checking your inbox because you're getting so much spam from other folks and saying, "Are you interested in personal accounting?" Like, "No, I'm not." "Are you interested in No, I'm not. No, I'm not," trying to sell me stuff. And you might have trained yourself to ignore that inbox, but these employers could be reaching out to you saying, "Hey, I would love to set up an interview. Are you free tomorrow?" And if I don't check it, I can't jump on that message, and I just missed a great opportunity.
Exactly. And like for myself, when I was actively looking for work, I know I used one email address for the longest time, as professional it was and all of that, and then transitioned to another. And at the time, it was, me again, reaching out to a community partner to do some things and totally missed that I used the wrong email address. Again, opportunities you miss out on. So it's just tightening up what you're using, what you're doing, making sure again, everything is free from any mistakes and typos, because that can hurt you and that can hurt your chances.
Yeah, and it won't take a lot of time to do it, especially because if you followed the steps, you've got a smoking resume.
Yes.
It's updated. Everything is great. So all you need to do is put that resume in front of you.
Yes.
Take a look at your LinkedIn page. Make sure that everything lines up, that everything reflects that your LinkedIn page is essentially your resume. Because if I, as an employer, hop on and you say all of these different work experiences, and then I get on there and the last time you updated it was in 2007 and it says something completely different than what you told me, immediately in my head, I'm not thinking positive thoughts about you. I'm a little bit confused and like, is this the right person? Yeah. It's the same picture. Like, I don't know. Like, are they lying to me?
Are they catfishing me?
And you might be completely honest, but that message was sent, and you don't want to send that message.
Exactly. Because funny enough, although this seems very simple, but this is what employers look at to see whether or not are you paying close attention to detail. Because what are you going to do if I decide to not only call you in for an interview, but what if I actually consider you for this position? If you're not taking the time with your own personal matters, what are you going to do with the $1 million account?
That's true.
So as small and minute that it seems, we need to really take a look at that. So
take a look. And then take another look the next day with fresh eyes, just to make sure to have somebody else look at it and say, "Hey, would you hire me?" Looking at this LinkedIn profile, and just taking the time to do that can sometimes make the difference between getting the job or not.
Exactly. And just some little tidbits with that. When you're applying for different positions, keep track of it. Keep track of it in your calendar, a notebook, specified for job seeking, because it may be where employers are looking to see whether or not you're going to follow up with them. How long is it taking in between time? Just some little tidbits with that, because all of that goes together. Once you apply, you need to keep track of those things and, be able to follow up timely. So it's just to keep you on your toes.
I really enjoy the following up. And that's not because like I'm trying to test people. Do they really want me to interview them? Anything like that. It's just like sometimes I'm in over my head with work too. And them simply sending a message 2 weeks later saying, "Hey Phil, I'm still really interested in this. If you're interested," I'm like, "Oh, thank you, man." Like this is exactly what I needed. I needed a reminder. And depending on the employer you're talking to, they might also be in that situation.
Absolutely.
And so they're not necessarily trying to like put you to the test. Do you really want this? It just it might have they might have got lost in the stack, some other reason, and you saying, hey, just checking in, I'd still really like to do an interview with you, that says, hey, this is really cool, this is somebody willing to help me out, they really want this position, like, that can go a long way.
And I'm glad you brought that up, Phil, because this does work on both sides of the fence, because as a recruiter once upon a time, that's also very important, because the sooner you get someone hired and in that position, you're saving time, your money, you want to make sure that you're cycling through what you need to cycle through timely. So that goes on the flip side of things.
Yep.
Employers, keep track of what,
Keep track.
When you're expecting applications, the deadlines, all of that good stuff, because I'm going to tell you, if you're looking for individuals, you'll miss out on someone.
Yep.
By calling them back in a month.
Yep.
It just doesn't work.
Yeah, don't do that, employers. I mean, please don't do that. I mean, that's something that you've heard, especially during and since COVID, is this idea of, I applied for this job, I never heard back. I sent them reminder emails, and then finally 12 weeks later they wanted to do an interview with me.
Right.
Like that's 3 months, man. And especially for you as an employer, let's say that you're thinking, well, this person isn't my first choice, I've got somebody that we really, really want, and they say no. Well, now you're at your second or third choice for this position, but they've moved on to a different employer, a different job. They may not have moved on, but you've kind of poisoned the well a little bit, saying, well, I applied for this 3 months ago. You didn't respond to my last 4 messages.
So I moved on.
Yeah, and so now you're interested in me? No way, man. And now you've lost on what could have been a great employee. And so just the people that apply, send them a message and just say, hey, I received it. We're taking a look at it. We'll reach out if we're interested. Man, it can be just a giant help.
And, I will say this just as a quick plug on the Hay Bay City job board. I love the automatic messages we get when we have employers sign up or there's a new employment opportunity. It just lets us know to stay on top of our toes so that way we're responding timely, because we know employers are, looking for individuals. Their time is valuable. Job seekers, when you're applying and uploading your resume, you want someone to respond to you in a timely manner. Given there are some technicalities, some technical difficulties at times, but we need to keep all of that in mind, especially for job seekers and employers on both ends.
Yep, we keep going back to it over and over and over again, this idea that this is very much a relationship.
Yes.
And we obviously in this work are very focused on employment and jobs and things, careers. But even more important than that, we are humans trying to make things happen in the world.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
that takes respect and love and empathy and all of these things going into a relationship. And man, I think if we can carry those things into something as simple as a job interview, as a search for an employee, everybody wins.
Yes, you're absolutely correct. So just to kind of bring it back around, hey, make sure those online profiles are just stellar. Make sure you're keeping everything up to date. Keep track of what's going on as far as when you're sending applications, those messages, and following up.
Heck yeah. So we've got at least one more episode in this series. If you haven't already, go back to the website, listen to them, step 1, step 2, step 3, all the way through this process. And then while you're there, check out all the stories and podcast community information that's there, the Hay Bay City job board, where any Bay County employer can list their open positions. Any person can apply to those positions. If you don't see a position there that you're interested in, you can also upload your resume. It'll get sent to Marlana, and she will help you find a job. It's such an amazing tool that we're trying to grow and get people to participate on here in Bay County. And I'm looking forward to at least one more episode on this series with you, Marlana. But for now, thank you so much.
Thank you, Phil.